Wow, doing well. You
Well,
look so prof.
you're looking sharp over there.
Oh man, I made a disaster in my hair yesterday. My wife killed me. I was I was about to shave it out, and then she come out and tried to.
You
Just
kind of look like Paul a little bit right now.
I I don't know if this bad or good.
It's fine.
I
It's fine.
try
It
to.
works.
You looking great, man. Looking professional out there.
I'm trying. I got the background going.
I
You know,
know.
yeah. It's
That's
all right. It's all
awesome.
right. Got to make it look good.
Totally.
Dude, what have you been up to?
Man, I try to stay busy. Like uh, get my routine, similar to I used to have, wake up early, uh, get my coffee, get a workout done, get my daughter's homework
Yeah.
done, and try live, day by day. It's kind of challenging, but it's everybody's. I cannot complain, being inside the apartment. I'm here in Memphis, we drove down to Memphis to get out of the crazy city.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like it's a big house, and with a lot more space. You have a pool, and everybody's happy. I cannot complain. Could be a lot
Yeah.
worse, stay inside the apartment in New York.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how I'm gonna handle that. But in here, at least we can breathe a little bit.
Yeah. You have space to kind of move around. You know, you're not
Yeah,
so confined. Yeah, I can
absolutely.
imagine that you would want to set like a routine right away because you always have your routine at the gym. You always have your routine like day to day, and you're always keeping busy. I can't imagine that you would just use this time to all
Yeah,
of a sudden like slow down. You kind of
yeah,
just have to make an adjustment along the way for sure.
yeah, absolutely. I try to get the same ideas being busy at academy. I always like to stay busy. That's who I am. Stay busy with anything, and staying busy is kind of at home, and it's kind of different. But I cannot drop the ball. I have to keep it up, um, and make enjoyable as possible.
Yeah. So you're feeling pretty productive. I remember for me, like the key is if I feel like I get enough things done in the day, I feel good. I feel satisfied with my day. There's some days where this is tough when I'm just find myself sitting around and not being really proactive or trying to make anything happen. So what is kind of your day to day looking like if there's a set routine that you try to have?
I I I kind of like I'm still kind of teaching, like teaching myself and teach others. So here, I try to simulate. I'm going to the gym to share something good for the students, and
Yeah.
here I'm trying to share something good for my family or for we have two boys, and we're in the house where my daughter's godparents live. So we're
Okay.
here as a family, So I put like a little conditioning training for them. I try teaching this and that, and they do jiu-jitsu also. So I kind of like teaching themselves, make me feel good, and I train on separate days, So I go for a run, I do kettlebells. I still active,
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
try to be very productive with things that make me feel good, and try to live like day by day. But man, I've been learning so much. I'm trying to take advantage into this. Uh, and it's bad and good at the same time. It's bad that we're not working, but it's good that I'm spending time with my family. That
Hmm.
I'm spending the time that I never had it before. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I'm getting more mature. So, man, I'm really enjoying this. I miss work so much. I miss helping others at academy. As you know me, I like to work so much and people improvements. But I'm improving myself and I'm improving my family. Healthy. It's been enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know,
You make it work for sure.
absolutely.
I always remember seeing you at the gym, especially at night. I know you changed up your schedule. You're not there at night every night now, but I remember almost feeling bad because Hannah and your daughter would be home. I'm sure there was times when
Yeah.
you just wish that you could be home and spend more time with them. So a silver lining in that is being able to have that time while still being productive in other ways, just trying to find other ways to improve.
Yeah, life's about balance, and you need to find the balance, man. And thank God today I can find the balance in whatever I do. I can find the balance and adapt well. And I'm taking this as a lesson, but I try to translate to already have been doing it. Uh, it's like being at the academy all day, teaching, work. I know I believe in hard work, so I
Hmm.
believe in dedication, and now and I have my family with me, and I try to still putting everybody to work and you have the same mindset, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
How you hanging out there? I know you're gonna ask another question, but how you handling these? I know you're very hard work, you know, you like to be at the gym, drilling, training. How you're facing that? I really wanted to ask you that,
yeah.
you know, since you're the for sure you want the guy that inspire a lot of students there because you're the one that trains more than anybody at the academy. How you learning from that from these situations?
Dude, well, I was gonna lead into something to ask you that I'll say, but for me, like it took me a couple days to like really adjust because I realized like, man, training is like so much of my life, which was almost like upsetting a little bit at the same time. You know, it's kind of like a realization, like,
Yeah,
all right, you know, I kind of want to find things outside of training that I can do, kind of be a bit more well-rounded and feel like if I don't have training that I don't have anything. You know, I still have
absolutely.
something I can do and work towards. So like I said, it took me like 2 days to adjust. I definitely had like a bad 2 days when the
Right,
gym
right, right.
closed and everything shut down.
Yeah,
But I eventually, you know, like I kind of compare it to, you know, when we compete, you know, there's never going to be just you visualize going with your plan A all the way through, but that's never
absolutely.
going to be the case. There's always going to be turbulence along the way, you know, so you need to know how to be able to make adjustments
I
along the way in a match. And I feel like this is that time to test it in real life. So
yes.
for me, like I had to adjust. I try to mimic the training as best I can, kind of giving myself like cardio workouts or doing strength routines right around the same time I would usually be training. You know, so I'm doing the best I can with that. I'm keeping myself busy. Like if I didn't have these conversations every day, I'd probably be losing my mind. You know, that
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
appreciate doing these and I
Yeah.
appreciate catching up to with other
Absolutely.
people. This is kind of giving me the opportunity to focus on like trying to market myself in different ways with grip tape and all this stuff. So I've had to be a little bit more open-minded. Whereas when I'm
Yeah.
training, I'm just focused on training.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I've been able to improve at least in that way.
That's absolutely, man. That's
So
good.
I mean, kind of
It's
like
good
how
to
you're
hear.
feeling. I wish I could be around my family. I haven't seen my parents in a long time or my extended
Yeah.
family, but I have like had a good acceptance of it and I have an understanding. And I don't even feel like I find myself rushing back. You know, I would rather take the more cautious route, to be honest, with this whole thing,
Yeah.
instead of possibly making it worse by going back too soon. I know I want to get back to training, but I'm at the point where, all right, we're already through this. Let's just you know do what we have to do to get
Exactly.
through it. All
Exactly.
right. But I wanted to ask, like, if there's one thing that you feel like when this is all over that you feel like you've been able to improve upon, is there anything you feel like you've been able to like once you come back like, man, I feel like I'm better because of this, in at least one or two certain ways or whatever you think.
Yeah. First of all, I'm proud. I'm proud to see that in your on you. You know, because I always see you work so hard, and I always see that you don't give a chance to yourself to learn other things because you want something so bad. You know, I'm really proud to see and hear that from you.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, I I always like to take put a foot on a brake and see the other side of myself. You know, not in a jiu-jitsu wise, but in person. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
what can I do to improve myself to a better level, to a better human being. You know, and the exact situation like that, that's when you start seeing yourself in a different way. You know, not being around a lot of people, not worrying too much about teaching what can I do to help them. But now it's really like what can I do to help myself, because we are in a situation that we cannot train, we cannot go work, you know, we cannot even be around people much. And in the particular time, the specific time that you have to step back and say, man, I need to improve myself somehow, you know,
Yeah.
accepting the challenge, you know. And like you are training, you're learning a mindset, you know. You whatever you're going through now, it's exactly how we're going through in a competition, like you say, in a training, about to learn something. uh, we are practicing our mindset. We're exercising our mind and making stronger in a difficult way, that you know you're under pressure and you have to handle that. You need to slow things down, and understand what's happening, and you can't not get frustrated. So in my perspective, when I go back, I will have my mind a lot more mature, and I will have more options to guide people. Okay, let's go this way, let's go that way. I have more options in the end of the day because I've been thinking so much. I've been practicing myself, my mind so much stronger. I'll be more I'll go back more calm and understanding the situation better because I'm practicing that with myself, with my family.
Yeah.
I'll be sharing a lot more knowledge for sure because you have a chance to know yourself better in this hard situation, this hard time.
Yeah.
You know, I try to like I don't worry about tomorrow. I try to worry about today because life is made about moments.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to live. I try to make the days count, but I don't count the days, if that makes sense. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
to rush things. So I like to, okay, today's here. I have this moment. So what can I get? What can I learn from this moment?
Yeah.
I don't want to wait for tomorrow. Count, okay, man, 2 weeks, I'm gonna start doing something. It's too late. It's too far to think about it. So think about now makes me visualize what can I do when I go back, to a regular routine. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's how I see. That's how I feel, and that's how I try to pass to the others. I think that's the best way.
Yeah, I mean, I also feel like it's really important to stay in the present moment during this time, just because it's so hard to say like when things are gonna get back. I know both of us we have like set schedules. We've always had like tournament schedules. We know what our plan
Yes.
is for the entire year. So
Yeah.
a big adjustment for us has been able to try to stay more in the present moment and not think too far ahead because we really don't know at the same time either what's
Yeah.
gonna be happening. And for me, I want to
Yeah.
be like, yeah, I want to be able to do this and that, but I also don't want to get flustered if those plans don't work
Yes.
out because
Absolutely.
who knows? We don't. It's all very up in the air. So I think that's been like the most important thing for me, trying not to think too far ahead and just kind of focusing on what can I do now with what I control, and just kind of and just go from there. I feel like
Absolutely.
that's been super important.
That's the best way to see it.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a situation like that, and you cannot just think, man, I have to go back to the gym. I have to go back to the gym. But at the same time, you're forgetting what you need to do in that exact time. Because you're thinking so much that thing that's too far away. And let's try enjoy my time here. Let's try learn something because there's a lot of space in your mind there's a lot of things that you can learn. And like I say, you need to know yourself, and this is the best time to understand the situation. Everybody's in the same boat, but you need to always see things. What can you do better?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I definitely feel like we've both been able to, from what it sounds like, we've both been able to make some improvements. And even for me, like I enjoy doing these to the point where I feel comfortable talking with other people. Of course, I'm
Yeah.
comfortable talking with you, but even I've been chatting with people I don't really know super well, and it's been
Right.
going
Right.
well, And I'm like, whoa, after everything comes back, maybe I don't need to do these every day, but
Yeah.
it can be like a once a week thing, make it into a podcast, so I have something else to work
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
So
we are getting our comfort zone. For one way, we have none of the options. But what we're doing now, we are sharing our information. We're sharing our life. What we're doing now. People want to know how ourselves doing, and in our regular schedule, or you're training or you're resting to go training or you're learning something, you're busy with something else, and you don't have time to do a life like that. So
yeah,
somehow we are learning in this time. We are getting out of comfort zone, facing people, talking on a camera, things that we don't look to do all the time because you're so busy with work. So I see my training is at work. So I'm getting ready for to a job interview, so we don't have that much time to do a live. It's good to see people asking, and we are learning somehow.
yeah. I mean, I feel like this is good for you as well because you can also expand your creativity. One thing I always appreciate you as like an instructor and is how you train and compete. You're just very creative with your classes. You always kind of like know how to keep it interesting, keep everyone on their toes.
Yeah.
What's your kind of? I mean, yeah. Every class, I'm like, are we? we have no idea what Marcos is going to do with us today. It could be, you know, kind of a chiller session. Sometimes it can be really hard. You know, it depends on just how you're feeling in the day.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you don't mind me asking, like, what's your approach to those classes that you're teaching? I don't know. It's a very general question,
Yes.
but I don't know. What's your kind of thought process on your ways of teaching? What works best for you?
I mean, that's how I learned, you know, long time ago with my first teacher, you know, and also I learned how Marcelo's approach things, you know, and I try to put that together
Hmm.
and try to take what the best for the students, you know, like uh, I like to teach the students the way I like to learn and the way I like to compete, you know. That's the way I believe, you know. So I was trying to bring something to the table, something exciting, and they like, whoa, that makes sense. So I always try to take something that's the easiest possible take to understand. It's not like for 10 people that's there, maybe 9 understand what I'm trying to translate to the try to teach, and maybe 1 don't understand, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I always try to bring like what's happening in these days in the jiu-jitsu tournaments. You know, if my favorite class to do is a competition class. You know, even if we don't name a competition class, but we know all the levels there like to compete. So if there's people that like to compete, so what can I do to bring the excitement to the students, you know? So I try to simulate how the fight start. I try to simulate, look, if you pull guard, what you do next? You have to force a sweep. So I like to keep updating their mind. So I like to put like a new blood into their body, you know?
Yeah.
So they and thank God, never being wrong. Everybody love it, you know. So and that makes me like feel I'm doing the right thing, you know. I believe in hard work. I believe in hard training. If you want to get better, you need to go hard. That's my belief, you know. Like and some people learn in an easy way. Some people learn the hard way. So I try to get right between, because at the end of the day, that's not my academy, you know. So I like to adapt to the academy system. So I really like to bring people what is happening, what's going on in the jiu-jitsu life today, like in a
Yeah.
tournament. So, okay, guys, what's new here? Okay, look, this is a situation of 50-50. Let's go over that. Let's get used to that mindset because, and there's a lot of ways you can learn a way to don't get stuck and you learn a way to start into it. So, I always like to keep going in an exciting way so people learn, you know, and people love it, you know. I always like to, okay, today we're gonna start standing. Who makes the first grip? Pull guard. So you know we've been taking a lot of my class, and you know how, and you say, oh, this man, I get stuck sometimes. This a lot of torment, but you don't realize, you know. So I work too much. What I need to teach the students, you know, what they can get better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I really like to put them to work hard because look, guys, that's the way that you need to do it. That's not another way around to learn that, you know. And you know, I like to push hard. Sometimes push too hard.
No, I always appreciate those classes. The thing that I always think about is, or the kind of like the balance of catering to people who don't compete, you know, maybe don't have those same goals. But this is what I found really interesting with your classes. At first I was like, oh man, these people are going to be like, this is too tough or whatever. But the common theme that I've noticed a lot of times is the people that aren't competing, they're like, man, I got through that today. That felt good. Maybe
that's my point.
Yeah, maybe they're dead tired, but like there's a kind of satisfaction. Maybe not everybody. Maybe it's not for everybody. But for a majority of the people, I've always noticed that even if they're not competing, they like to help out the competitors. They feel like involved, you know?
So I like to, and I always explain to guys, look, we have a few people that are going to go compete. And sometimes we don't have nobody going to go compete, but you don't have to look for competition side, but this is the good way to learn the system, you know? So they got so happy with themselves and they feel like, I did it, you know? So that makes me feel really good. And when it's like ADCC camp started, so how I'm gonna push Gianni, Mateus, and the other to go compete, but nobody else going to compete. So what I'm gonna do this?
Yeah.
So they feel like we're family, you know. With one, if somebody win, everybody win. If somebody lose, everybody lose. And they, oh, I got this. I need to help them. I need to step it up. So, and everybody don't feel the pressure, even if it's super hard for them, but they feel like I help them somehow, you know, just
Yeah.
standing there, be like a good training partner. So I always try to explain to them, look, you don't have to go compete, but if you learn this way, man, your level gonna be so higher. And then and they love it, you know. Thank God it's being helped. So I try to find the balance between people going to compete and people that don't go to compete. Maybe they want to learn. So guys, you don't have to go compete, but this way that you're learning, it's amazing, you know. So it's been helpful. It's been really good, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I remember. I specifically remember one session before ADCC where we did like that Shark Tank the whole time, and I wasn't. that sucked. That was a rough day. But all the guys who were competing at ADCC was me, Mateus, Juan. I don't know if John was there that day, but it was at least the three of us.
Right.
Either way, I remember you were like, okay, you guys are the only ones that are staying in. Everyone else, you know, you go in, you go out after a certain number. And I remember thinking, like, for me, just as like someone who wants to train all the time, you know, and always
Yeah.
be on the mat, I'm thinking like, oh, I wonder how other people feel about this. I wonder if they like it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the session, like, or okay, end of the class, it was like more enthusiastic than I had noticed in a while because everyone was just happy to be able to push their partners and be like, man,
Absolutely.
you know, so if, like you say, if you know when Mateus win, people can feel like we won, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It was that kind of feeling. So
Yeah.
that's something that I like. So you say that came a little bit. Was that something that your first coach and like your older coaches implied?
Yeah, man. My the way my old coach used to train, it was like old like old school, like in a military way. We used to have a uh he believed that, guys, if you guys are be able to handle 1 hour of a hard training, that's the his mentality. You guys will be able to train easy. You will be if you train hard, you fight easy. That's what he was saying, you know. And we
Yeah.
believe in that. So let's kill ourselves. You should train like 4 to 6, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. straight, you know. And then after that, you're gonna go run around the highway and then come back. So that's how we used to grow. Growing up, learn jiu-jitsu, think that hard work pays off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And years by years pass, and you learn because my folks today, I really want to be a good teacher, you know. So I try to get a little bit of here, a little bit of that. So I try to get my first coach knowledge and Marcelo's knowledge and put together. But that's how I start focus, you know, understand a little bit how to approach the technique for the students, and they enjoying somehow, they're learning, you know. They don't want to I don't want to kill themselves. I want to teach them a way that they are getting tired, but they are taking something of that, you know.
Yeah.
And and that's my goal right now, you know. I want to focus on that and help them. And thank God I have got a good feedback, you know. I believe there's people that don't like, but if people don't like, maybe they didn't understand my idea, you know. So
Yeah. I feel like if there's not someone that doesn't like that, I don't know. No one's ever gonna like.
yeah,
Not everyone is
absolutely.
always gonna like it. There's especially when we have a gym with like 700 people. It's hard to
Yeah,
satisfy everyone. You gotta
absolutely.
kind of if you try to cater to everybody, then it's never gonna be. It's never gonna
Yeah,
work.
absolutely. Nobody, you're never gonna make everybody happy, you know. Like my, I learned this like from my old coach also, you know. He say, man, if you want to make everybody happy, work an ice cream truck, you know. Everybody gonna be happy, and even that, people gonna be mad because you're gonna put a high price. So you cannot make everybody happy, but you can definitely do your best always to help them somehow, you know.
Yeah, I'm so for me, like someone who in the next couple of years wants to get to more teaching. That's kind of a goal of mine. In the next few years, I definitely have a plan of like wanting to slow down competing at some point and put more of a priority on others, which I feel like I haven't done much. So I kind of feel like I'm coming to that point. But what do you feel like was the biggest difficulty making a transition to being more of like an instructor? Or what was like the biggest thing in teaching that you felt like you had to improve upon?
Uh,
Maybe didn't come naturally to you in the beginning.
uh, when I started training, I want to start teaching. I was like helping teaching my first coach. I was a blue belt, and I always have that in my mind. Say, man, what I want to be a good teacher. But at the same time, I want to be a good competitor. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was just going with the flow, and when I got on myself and started teaching, and then said, man, I have to teach. And now I have a family. Now I have to, deal with my family and teaching and training at the same time. So, and I asked myself, like, man, how I manage that?
Yeah.
When you're single, maybe when you just have a wife and you don't have kids, it's easy because you can handle things around. You don't have time to, have time to wake up, but you don't have your full mind like busy. And say, Marcos, if nobody can do for you, it's you, And it's like thinking that I say, man, nobody can do this for me. And it's my choice, and I chose to be like that. I chose to be a good teacher. I chose to be a father. I chose to be a family man, and I chose to be an athlete too. So
Mm-hmm.
how can I do this? All this at the same time. But it's like same time I don't know how I do it, but I enjoy to do. I enjoy to help others with jiu-jitsu teaching, and also I help to train and go. It's very challenging. My first few years was really hard to focus and win a world title, win a Pan Am title, all these big tournaments. Can be even the smallest one, but it's hard to. You need to today. I need to say that I was thinking, man, how I'm gonna find the balance of this. Right, that's the first thing I need to understand. I need to find the balance of all this: teaching, training, be a good family guy. So how I'm gonna do this? So I have to find the balance, and start put things here, things there. And when you find that balance for yourself, that's when, okay, now I can get this. So today I go teaching, no problem. Today I go training hard, no problem. 2 sessions, but what's the always hard for me is manage my family time in teaching wise. So I recommend people that once you start teaching, I say go find a balance for your time, and if you want to compete, you might do it for the first year, but later on you won't be able to because your schedule gonna change, and then you're gonna teach well or gonna compete well, one or the other. You cannot do both at the same time because gets and mix it up, and then in the end of the day gonna be hard to separate that. So you rather slow down the competition and find a balance for teaching, and then later on when you have a good student, so you can go back to the compete, so you can find a balance for that time too. But it's not easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy, but if you like to do it, man. And when I started teaching, I felt like my jiu-jitsu got a lot better, a lot more organized, because you don't want to teach something wrong, and you don't go to your competition look to do something wrong. You look to do something right. So that's the feeling that you need to teach the other.
Mm-hmm.
So doing that, you look more for yourself, look more like, man, my jiu-jitsu is getting more a little bit more organized. Step one, step two, step three. So, and you start teaching that, and it gets automatic.
Yeah.
And then when you see you went too far teaching amazing technique and understanding how to break things down. Everybody has different ways to teach,
Yeah.
but you need to find a balance, and that's the secret word.
Yeah, yeah. You just say it takes a little bit of time. I do remember like when everything was happening for you, when you had Lila, when you got your
uh,
black belt, all this stuff was happening at once. You had a bigger role at the gym. I remember, there was some matches where things just weren't clicking. You were always right there. But do you think it was just kind of, just kind of getting used to that routine, or was there like maybe like a little bit of a mind shift, or do you think
a little bit,
it was just time?
a little bit of everything, a
Yeah.
little bit of everything. When I got my black belt and my daughter born, and then uh, I couldn't focus training. I was asleep. I don't say it as excuse, but that's how I felt. I felt really shocked in my body when I got out of my routine.
Yeah.
I said, man, now I have this baby, and but I want to train it through.
Yeah.
And what's better for me? What's the positive way? So I say, man, if I love jiu-jitsu and I love my kids. So I need to find a better way for that. So, and main time, man, main time, I never say that. Main time, I start crying after session, you know, like I was trying to hide, and I said, man, I don't know if I can do this. And then I was like, I was talking to myself, Marcel, this thing is so hard, man. And how I do this, you know, nothing's working. I feel like a white belt. I feel like I just started training jiu-jitsu, you know, like I'm getting tapped by blue belts, you know, and my energy it sucks. I can't handle this. I can't function, you know. And I said, man, just sit down here. Say, look, you know. And he said, man, you love your daughter? Do you love your family? I say yes. Do you love jiu-jitsu? Say yes. Can you pay somebody to take care of your kids so you can train full time? I say no. And then he say, look, it's up to you. It's all in your mind. You just have to adapt your life the way it is. If nobody can do for you, it's you. You need to adapt their life the way it is. Because if you dream to have a daughter, you have it. And you dream to have a black belt, you have it. And you dream to have this life that you have today, you have it. So what's missing? And that thing clicked on my mind. Say, man. And I was going home and say, man, Marcel's right. You know, he gives you some things like when you start understanding Marcel, he gives you one word that translates for the whole life, and it's like this is it, you know. And it doesn't matter what I went home. The first week I was thinking about that. I couldn't have a 5 hours sleep. It wasn't enough to go. And then I was like, I felt like I was drinking pre-workout before training. I was like 5 hours sleep and still training well, but I was in
Yeah.
my mind. I was all in my mind, you know, like, man, I cannot do this. I was thinking like in a negative way, but then I switched the plug and I started putting a positive way. I said, man, nobody can do this for me. You know what? I'm gonna do it with sleep or not. And then I got
Yeah.
in a point of my life that I was sleeping 5 hours, no kidding. And I go training, felt like fine, you know. But
Yeah.
in the end of the day, I was crashing, but like amazing. So and then started getting that, and then my first year in a black belt, I was like feeling that I didn't hit that right. You know, I was going to the black belt with the brown belt mind. You know, I was going 10 minutes round. I was going so hard 10 minutes round. I thought like, man, brand new black belt. I want to do it, but I didn't have the foot on the brake. And I was going so hard, 5 minutes, then 5 minutes left, I was going down, you know, and I was like losing my mind just doing that. I'm managing things, you know, and I started readjust little by little, but I adjust the most important thing. I found the balance of my training and my I was like, man, I want to finish my training so hard because I want to go home and enjoy my daughter, you
Mm-hmm.
know, so that boosted my energy, you know, and after that I wasn't feeling not tired at all. So I switched a little bit of my mind. And my second and black belt, I started catching up, you know. Uh, you know, I didn't win the worlds. I'm not satisfied, but I know I'm on the track. I know what I need to do it. I know what I need to manage better. You know, today I found the balance. And dude, to be honest, I don't feel the pressure going to compete today. You know, I don't
Yeah.
know, it's weird. You know, I go training and go there calm and know that I have nothing to prove to nobody. You know, that makes me feel like calm, and I found the balance. You know, it took me a while, but you need to do it, like Marcel.
Yeah.
You need to do it, and that's it. You know, and that's how I live my life today. You know, like I do whatever I have to do it. You know, if nobody's there to teach, I'll go teach. If I'm tired, doesn't matter. I'll do it. You know, that's how I handle things right now.
Yeah. Do you feel like it was kind of like just having that acceptance? There's probably a bunch of people that could be in the same situation, be like, oh man, you know, I have to do this and I have to do that, and kind of look at and just kind of put a negative spin on it, like, kind of like what you were
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
But for you, you're like, all right, this is how it is. I'm gonna
yeah,
make it work for with what I got, and
yeah,
that just kind of like it doesn't make it, you know, the task is the same, but the approach and just the
yeah,
kind of positive, you can kind of keep your head up a little bit easier,
yeah, yeah.
and and then you start, like you say, you would have those short nights of sleep and yet still feel good because you would look at it in a positive light rather than
Yes,
anything else.
yes.
Yeah.
I always think how I cannot do, how can I do this? Because it's like, man, I really like to train, but at the same time, I really need to spend time with my family. You know, I need to find the balance. Uh, Real true is it's all in your mind. You know,
Hmm.
once you think in a positive way, if you really want to do this, you're gonna find a way to do it. If you don't want to do it, you're gonna find excuse to don't do it. You know, and today, man, I feel like uh I can train the full time, you know, and lives are different than back in the day. You know, it used to be a purple brown belt. I still train twice a day, and today I started manage better my training, and I feel like, and you learn through the years, but it can really shock your mind, and you can stop training, you can just, you know, change your work, change your life. So you can do this. You know, I see a lot of people, and I have the most popular question people asking me, send me an Instagram, I can show you. It's like, it's not 10, it's not 20, it's more, it's hundreds asking myself, how do you manage your time with your family and training and be on top competitive? You know, I say,
Yeah.
man, you just have to enjoy what you do it. You know, that's no secret thing. Just enjoy. Don't put pressure in your mind. You know, uh, think about go to compete, go to train. Not think like you need to show off to your daughter or your family. You know, do for yourself. You know, if you do for yourself, the result's gonna show up. You know, so just work hard. Don't think about tomorrow, man. No, I'm gonna rest today. Tomorrow, just do it. You know,
Hmm.
if you work hard, your result gonna pay off. You know, that's what I
Yeah.
believe. But it's not easy, like I say, and people end up giving up in a competition. People start teaching more, you know. But
Hmm.
who knows what the reason is? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Um, no, that makes sense. I was actually I wanted to ask a little bit about how you train. 'Cause I remember a couple months ago, Marcelo had like a talk with all of us about with all the black belts about like changing up the training, being able to open up and work with other people, giving us an opportunity to kind of try new things, be more creative. But you were
Yeah,
someone that was already on that. You were
yeah,
like already on board with that. I noticed that you're very thoughtful with your training. Like you seem to have like goals when you're going to training, working with different people. You're not just you'll train with Mateus, you'll train with Atos, you'll train with little
yeah, yeah,
Mateus, but you won't and you'll have those rounds, but you also seem to have a good balance with training with other people and experimenting more as well.
yeah.
Um, what
So
what kind of made you change that your approach or have that approach?
uh, I like to, if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you know, you end up getting the same result, you know.
True.
And I say, man, what's missing to win the damn world title? You know, if I learn, if I want to sharpen up my position and go 10-minute round with Mateus, I won't even get close to connect my position with Mateus. You know, say, man, something's missing here. Something's missing really bad. You know, I've been like in a party in the world like 3 years in a row and never win the damn title. What's missing? You know, you're getting a
Yeah.
point that you're gonna get in a point that you don't learn anymore. You're gonna get in a point that you need to change things around. You know, like, but you can always change the way you approaching things and still use the same tools because uh, I truly believe in my technique, but how am I gonna do my technique with people? You know, so I need to sharpen up more. I only a few years ago I started drilling more. I like to go hard, but when I start drilling more and I start using my technique with different training partners, my level got. I say, man, I'm getting really far with the technique that I wanted to train. So
Yeah.
I was asking myself, why this not? I asked myself, I don't ask like, man, this guy is unbelievable good. Yeah, he's good, but what can I do better to catch this guy? You know, what I can do better to connect that. So, and I always change here, change there, and try to memorize my point, my strong point, my weak point. So, and I start changing my training a little bit here, a little bit there. So I go super hard and then go a little bit low speed to see how my interest is. So I started experimenting this uh, years ago, and it's been helpful. My techniques getting a lot better. You know, sometimes you learn a lot working hard. Sometimes you learn a lot just focusing how I'm gonna approach my techniques in different ways. You know, I have one type of technique, but I can approach in thousand different ways. You know,
Yeah.
uh, like training with Mateus got on a point that's, man, I cannot do nothing with this guy. You know, I cannot hold this
Mhm.
guy. So I know it's necessary to train for him, and I know it's necessary to train somebody else that not as strong as him. You know, I try changing him there, and I try to learn every train part that I do it, and I learn. You know, I try to absorb a little bit here, a little bit there, and get a conclusion for myself. And that's how I've been learning, and that's how I've been being very helpful. You know, uh, not just clicking the same thing all the time. You know, like changing things around. It's just getting better slowly, but like you just need to get a comfort zone. You know, it's easy to, you know, be there, close the guard, and okay, nobody's gonna pass. You know,
Yeah.
so just thinking that way. You know, but training different people definitely helps a lot. Gives you a different perspective of yourself. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you're so tired, man. I'm gonna pull to my strong game, and you're gonna stay there. You know, but if you train somebody else that, oh, let's working a top game today with somebody like, if I'm working a top game trying to pass your guard and try working top game against a purple belt, it's different type of different perspective, you know. But
Mhm.
I know your style is this way, and I know time this way, so I'm gonna approach in different ways to see. I'm learning totally different ways. So, and the reaction is different. You know, everybody has different reactions, so this is very necessary for improvements.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know.
yeah, I've noticed almost like some of the biggest changes since you came to Marcelo's, you know, from you. I remember, I think you came by before Worlds in 2013. I think that was the
That's correct.
first time you came by.
That's
And
correct.
I was still living with my parents at the time. I remember we trained pretty often before I retired training with you pretty much.
Exactly.
And like, I think at least every other round you were getting me in like an arm lock. And I would go home to and I always talk to my dad about training. And be like, man, I don't know what to do about these arm locks. You know, I feel like I'm doing everything right. You know, I'm defending, and he's still finding the arm. And then years pass, you know, and maybe I'll ask you this: maybe if you feel like, you know, teaching more helped you out, open up your game more. But now I'm like, if I were to talk to my dad about it, I'm like, yeah, he just beats me in every other way now. Like he doesn't need to go for arm locks on me. He can do
You
everything
know,
else.
you when you do, you know, when you do things over and over, people sees easy. You
Yeah.
know, um, now I do like 10 times the same thing, but I do 20 times things different that I can adapt to the same thing that I was doing first. So
Mm-hmm.
the idea of the armbar, like for example, I go for the armbar all the time. So I pull guard, I go for some sweep, but I know that I'm gonna end up on the armbar. So I try to confuse your mind with something else, but I'm really gonna hit the armbar like that, you know. So, um, but I try to go for the submission. Doesn't matter which one. But when you start seeing so easy, I'm gonna win this round. I mean, I need to sweep this. I need to. So that's how you compete. You know, like I try to teach myself to stay organized in whatever I do it. If I lose, I have this. You know, if I have this, I'm gonna go for that. So you need to change that I also sometimes I change too quick, sometimes I change too late, you know, sometimes I change perfect time. So I like to learn different ways. What I need to make a wrap you around my game so I have control of each, you know. But once I keep teaching more, like I say, my game become way more organized, way more precise in a way that you can control better, you know.
Yeah. I went
So
through like
you're
a
gonna
yeah.
see that when you go when you go teach somebody and say, oh, I remember this one here. Oh, I remember this detail here. Oh, I remember this detail. So your mind start opening up more, and then you're like, oh
Yeah.
man, I remember this detail that I learned long time ago, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
even practice that, but it's in your mind, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the little that I've been able to teach, like I remember I did a couple like seminars in Miami or something, and I remember like going over a certain sequence of techniques passing wise, and I remember thinking like the benefit that I got from that was that I sometimes I know things and I do them, but I don't
Yeah,
really understand. I don't really think about the reason why I do them or why
right.
they work. But explaining them over and over, whether it was like through the technique or going around and helping other people out, I was like figuring out like why I'm doing this, and I
Yeah,
can explain why they're fighting this way or that way. I can just understand things very, all the little details I can explain and understand why I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
Whereas before, when I'm not teaching and maybe I learn something and I make it work, I'm not really thinking about why I'm doing this or why
Hmm.
this is good for me or whatever. But I did feel
Yeah.
like teaching helps me like understand everything that I'm doing, so I'm very
Absolutely.
aware more because of
Yeah.
that.
It's a different way to approach things, and personal, that's how I learned the most, how I fix my game teaching. So look, if you teach something, if that person can do this, oh, I can do this. So you need to find it's a good way to learn. When you start teaching people, you see more yourself, doing it. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. I do want to spend like a few minutes. I actually just want to have a friend of mine who sent like a bunch of like interesting questions. Kind of more like we've been talking a lot of jiu-jitsu, so more like weird questions. Would you rather have a third arm or a third leg? I don't know. Maybe we'll try that. I don't know. Weird dumb shit. But I did want to ask you like, at what point did you have like a match? Would you say that like because I felt like for me, I needed a while to adapt once I got my black belt. And you said you went through, not bad first year, but you definitely had those growing pains. Was
Yeah.
there like a certain point when you'd say, "Man, I feel comfortable here now. I feel like I belong here"? It took me, I remember, a good minute to feel comfortable competing at black belt. But was there something like, "I got this shit. I can accomplish everything that I wish to accomplish"?
Yeah. I can say that fun story happens with me, that the way it happened with me, that I was competing against this guy at my first year at black belt at a Pan Am and Absolute. That was the first Absolute I did in black belt. And that was, like I say, I was winning by 5 minutes, like winning, controlling the mat. And then I wanted so bad that I gas out. I gas out my grips, everything. I went down bad. And then he wrapped me up and sent me home. I was like, man, I was shocked. I was like, wow. And that thing shocked my mind. Like, and then I did that, the division, and I I think I lost for Otavio in my uh first year. I lost. Yeah, I lost for him by one, by or two advances. I don't remember. And I said, man, I'm competing against high levels. And but it's not there yet. And then pass, and years after that, I compete against the same guy in the New York Open. It was Murillo, and I competed against him, and he smashed me so bad. And then years later, I compete against him, and he said, "Man, you're a lot stronger than the first time we compete." And I said, "Oh man, you're crazy." And he said, "Man, I couldn't do nothing with you this time." And I say, "Why is that? Why you think you felt me different?" Probably I was training more. I was trying to adjust things around. And then he said, "Man, the difference that I felt from you today than the first time we fought, that the first time you came as a brown belt strength. You came against me as a brown belt mindset. You really wants to kill me, and then you went halfway through, and then again the other half. And unfortunately, was that way. And today you felt a real black belt.
Yeah.
Because you managed back the game. You managed 10 minutes. I took him down and then managed the top game and tried to pass. So, and that thing made me think like, that's cool. That's good to hear for somebody that's been there for a long time. And that was it. That was it, clicks my mind. And he said, man, he felt me as a real black belt. So now, and then I started like manage better my game, manage better how I train, manage better how I compete. So I control things better now. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like a real black belt. I feel like I can manage, I can take my time, even the wrong time, but I see things going around. And that makes me feel good. And then start beating bigger names, and then look for like, Lucas Late, a bunch of names, and makes me feel like I'm here. I'm gonna stay here for a
Yeah.
little while, and I'm not gonna stay here forever, but I'm gonna try to stay here. When I get here, I'll try to stay, and it happened that way. So it's fun thing that when you get a black belt, you want so much that you forget change things around, and that
Yeah.
helped me a lot. And thank you to Murilo to say that to me, that maybe if nobody say that, would be take me longer than.
Yeah.
So takes time to adjust. A lot of people that are doing so well in the color belts, when they get in a black belt, they lose their mind and then they stop training, they stop compete. You know, I believe in know a lot of people like that. You know, but everybody handles different. You know.
Yeah. I feel like at the color belts, a lot of guys will just like kind of go fight,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
awesome that you want to do that, but it's
absolutely.
so difficult to do that and succeed at
Man,
black belt. You need to have a balance of being able to know when to go and when to really push forward, and also knowing how to play it smart at the same
yeah,
time, and
absolutely.
having a bit of it. Not that you want to over strategize. I don't think anyone at Marcelo has ever been like over strategic, but
Yeah,
I think it's important to have like a good idea of what your plan is going through a
absolutely.
match,
Yeah.
managing the clock, managing the rules, the boundaries, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's
You know,
about
it's,
that's what people don't do, and that's what they screwed up, you know. And then they
yeah,
ask, "Man, I'm terrible in this, I'm terrible in that." But no, understand the system, understand what you're doing. You know,
yeah,
it's
dude.
tough.
I
It's tough.
almost You're good at always kind of mimicking the matches. One thing I was always thinking, this would be kind of difficult to do, but one thing that annoys me with the rules a lot is that people play the boundaries really well. I
Yeah,
don't know if you see, like, I've
yeah,
had so many matches where, like, maybe I'm coming up to a guy's back and but he stays by the outside line the whole time.
yeah,
So then as soon as I start getting somewhere, he rolls, we get into
yeah,
a crazy scramble. They can't reset us in the position, so they start from the feet. It
yeah,
would be interesting to see how we could possibly make something happen where we kind of like almost
yeah,
train thinking about like where a boundary line is,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that you. I remember
It's
a few things that saved me in competition. I remember like I think I was fighting Kishino and I was trying to go for a 50-50 sweep, and I noticed he was trying to get out of bounds because he wanted to start back up from the feet. I
right.
noticed that, so as soon as we got to the line, I dropped back down. I
It's
just
you.
went back because so
It's
that when they
important.
reset us, I was still on bottom with the ability to sweep later on. I don't know, like something like that might be to think about, as well.
It's necessary to know. Who competes often need to know that, and it will
Yeah,
happen. Will happen when you don't think that's gonna happen. It
it'll
happens, you
happen.
know.
Yeah,
So that's one of those type of things that I like. That's one of those things that I like to teach. You know, so you need to be prepared to anything. You know, you're prepared to finish, of course, the match. Uh, but at the same time, you need to get ready to all the things around because things happen in an expected way that sometimes, man, I was ready for that shit. Yeah, you didn't practice. You know, it's impossible to practice everything. It's impossible, but I believe it's possible to get close. You know, and practice every things that happen very often in tournaments. So yeah, we can we have a lot of space now, and let's see what we can do it. You know, and
yeah.
we have actually got a uh, crash pads that
Crash
so
pads. Yeah,
yeah,
we
so
could.
we got a new one, but we didn't have a chance to use. You
Yeah.
know, we got
And
a lot of
apparently, I see a lot of gyms. They say that we'll have to have like social. I don't know what's going to happen, but they say we might have to be socially distant in
yeah,
training. So we're going to have to be distant from each other anyway, so we can make
yeah,
like little boundaries or something. I don't know. I don't know.
absolutely, yeah. It's gonna be. It's too early to say, but my idea is always the same. My idea is always what can I do better? What can I bring? Something exciting for the students, you know. So my idea is gonna be pretty much, I believe, not the same but better than before. You know, what can we do better? You know, I'll be for sure focus a lot on the teaching. You know, I'm not be competing much until things back to normal. So
Yeah.
let's take advantage of that and see what can do better. You know.
Yeah. So we've spent about 55 minutes talking about
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu. Let's lighten it up. So I did this the other day,
Uh huh.
and I had like I gave like a really good question that I was proud of to Bia. We talked about like some hypothetical thing, but it was funny. My dad didn't like it. He didn't. He was like he wasn't all. He was like, oh, I love the interview, but that was kind of weird. It was like,
Do it.
would you rather fight? So the question was, would you rather fight one horse-sized duck, so a duck the size of a horse,
Oh shit.
or would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses? We don't need to answer that question because he didn't like it. But those are
Uh,
the. Oh, let's do it anyway.
if you if I rather asking, I rather fight a dog the size horse or the size horse or 100 duck.
Duck-sized horse. So you'd fight 100 horses that are duck-sized,
Uh
like the
huh.
size of a duck, but they're horses.
Man,
Or a duck that's a horse size.
I'll fight the horse size.
But the horse size is also like So I was wrong when I explained the Bia last time. Those are almost 2,000 pounds. A regular horse is like 2,000 pounds.
Right.
I'd rather take on tiny little things, even if it's 100 of them.
Right. Yeah. I think I can take a tiny one that I can kick, I can punch. I have more options. You know, I'll be hard to take the horse down. You know, doc.
Maybe it's like a little man thing for me. I want to be the bigger person sometimes. I'm tired of being.
Yeah. No, I think I will survive longer getting $100. You know. So
I'd have a little better chance.
yeah, I think I'll take that one. I'll take the second option.
So I got a couple other questions here. These are kind of light ones. I don't know if we need to do many of these. I guess this one is kind of funny. Have you ever had a non-fight related thought when you compete, or
No.
when you train? No,
No, never.
you've always been in it.
Yeah.
There's never been a
Yeah.
what's for dinner.
I mean, never. No.
Yeah,
Not yet.
not yet. Even all the things in your mind that go on, you know, it's still always in the book. Yeah.
No.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's a good answer. This was an interesting one. I had a battle with someone about this. Would you rather win $10,000 or let your friend win $100,000?
My situation today, I'd rather win the 10,000.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
Not being selfish. Not being selfish. You know.
You can see
I don't
someone
know
say,
I don't know how he's gonna handle the 100,000. You know, he's only gonna give me some, but I'd rather win. You know.
yeah.
We can go out and eat. You know, I pay for dinner.
See, like someone was saying, like, oh, they would rather have their friend win the 100,000, which is very nice of them.
Yeah, it is.
But
nice.
she's like, oh, maybe they'll give me some, but you don't know that for sure. There's no guarantee.
No,
and it might not be a full $10,000.
I rather, I rather one in my hand than two flying. You know.
We already did a question about fighting animals. Positional. Well, this was a jiu-jitsu question. Do you like positional sparring or drilling more? If you had to choose one or the other, what would it be?
Position sparring.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I'm almost feeling the same way.
Yeah.
For as much as I drill, like I would rather do live training from like specific positions.
I get close the feeling. Yeah, from that.
Yeah, I would try to mimic that a bit more. Let me see. We got like a minute and a half, but let me try to get one more. I don't really like any of these. Never mind. We're not doing any more.
All right.
Next time I'm gonna think of more on my own, and then
Let's start right away. But man, thank you so much, bro. It's good to spend a little time talking to you and see you're looking great, still working hard out there. Thank you for having me here. You know, I can't wait to go back to on the mat with you. And get
Dude, I can't wait to get back to routine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You have those
I miss your energy that you have in your classes and everything. As well as I feel like we've been able to adapt.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will think about how the training is, or I'll see a memory of everyone at the gym, and I'm definitely missing that a lot.
Sounds good. You should try to do a live with Marcelo.
I'm trying.
Try. He has a big schedule now.
He's a busy man, you know.
But
trust me,
for having me, bro.
Yeah, of course, man. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you,
hey guys.
Thank you, everybody here for following. And all right, see you guys soon.
Let's hopefully soon. Yeah, I'll see you guys.